Every year, when garlic goes on sale, I stock up. But if you store it the wrong way, it dries out sprouts, green shoots, or turns soft and musty. I've opened my pantry and had to toss whole bulbs before. After trying different methods, I kept just a few simple ones that truly work. Let me show you exactly what I do. So let's start with the setup I use on most normal weeks when I just want garlic sitting quietly in the pantry ready to grab. First, I make sure the bulbs are firm and papery. If one feels soft or slightly damp, I use that one first instead of storing it with the rest. Garlic likes to stay dry, so I never wash it before storing. If there's visible dirt, I simply brush it off with a dry towel. Next, I place the whole bulbs into a mesh produce bag. If I don't have one, I use a paper bag and snip a few small holes along the sides. Airflow is everything here. When garlic sits in plastic without ventilation, moisture gets trapped, and that's when sprouting and mold start. I don't pack the bulbs tightly. A little space helps them breathe. Then I keep the bag in a cool, shaded spot in the pantry away from the stove, dishwasher, steam, or direct sunlight. With this simple setup, my garlic usually stays firm and usable for 2 to 3 months. I can just grab a bulb break off a few cloves and start cooking right away. Some people swear garlic should never sit in the pantry. Others say the fridge ruins it faster. What's your take? If you store garlic at room temperature, comment 1. If you always refrigerate it, comment 0. I'm really curious which side wins. When I buy a lot at once and don't want to think about sprouting at all, this is the method I rely on, freezing the bulbs whole. No peeling, no chopping, no extra prep. I start with firm, dry bulbs, just like before. The skins stay on. I place the whole bulbs into a large freezer bag, making sure not to cram them too tightly. A little space helps them freeze more evenly. Then I press out as much air as I can before sealing the bag. Less air means less chance of freezer burn. I always label the bag with the month. Garlic has a way of disappearing into the back of the freezer, and this small habit keeps me organized. When I need garlic, I pull out one bulb and let it sit on the counter for about 10 to 15 minutes. The cloves separate easily, and the skins peel off faster than you'd expect. If I'm cooking right away, I'll even mince it while it's still slightly firm. It's less sticky and easier to handle. The flavor holds up beautifully once cooked. And most importantly, I never open a pantry drawer to find green sprouts again. Freezing whole bulbs completely stops sprouting, but on busy nights, even peeling a few cloves can feel like one extra step too many. That's when I switch to this version garlic that's already chopped and ready to scoop straight into the pan. First, I peel a batch of cloves all at once. A quick trick: press each clove lightly with the flat side of your knife. The skins loosen instantly and slip right off. Once they're peeled, I add them to a food processor. To help the garlic hold its color and stay stable in storage, I add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It's a small amount, but it makes a difference. Then I pulse just until the texture is slightly chunky. I don't blend it completely smooth. Those tiny bits release more aroma when they hit hot oil. Next, I spoon the mixture into a freezer-safe container. I press it down gently. To remove air pockets, smooth the top, then close the lid tightly. It goes straight into the freezer. When I'm cooking, I simply open the container, scoop out what I need, and return it to the freezer. No thawing, no cutting board, no sticky garlic smell on my fingers. This method keeps beautifully for months, and on nights when dinner needs to happen fast, having garlic ready like this feels like a small win. If you like everything measured and ready to go, this is my most organized setup garlic ice cubes. I start with the same chopped garlic mixture from before. Once it's blended to that slightly chunky texture, I spoon it into an ice cube tray. I fill each section level, not heaping. One cube is usually just right for one meal, so there's no guessing later. After filling the tray, I tap it gently on the counter to settle the mixture and remove small air pockets. Then it goes straight into the freezer. Once the cubes are completely frozen, I pop them out and transfer them into a labeled freezer bag. I always press out the extra air before sealing. This keeps the flavor clean and prevents freezer odors from sneaking in. Now here's why I love this method. On busy nights, I don't scoop, measure, or think. I grab one cube and drop it straight into the pan. It melts quickly in hot oil and spreads evenly through the dish. No sticky spoon, no half-used container, no extra cleanup. These cubes keep beautifully for months and everything feels tidy and controlled. Sometimes I don't want frozen garlic at all. I just want something I can open, scoop, and cook with right away. That's when I make this simple fridge jar version. I take some of the chopped garlic mixture and spoon it into a small clean glass jar. I don't fill it all the way to the top, I leave about ½ inch of space. Then I pour a thin layer of olive oil over the surface, just enough to lightly cover the garlic. That oil acts as a barrier. It limits air exposure every time I open the jar, which helps slow down browning and keeps the garlic smelling fresh. I close the lid tightly and store it in the refrigerator. When I use it, I always scoop with a clean, dry spoon. After each use, I smooth the top and make sure the garlic is still lightly covered with oil. If it looks dry, I simply add a little more. This version is best used within 2 to 4 weeks. It's perfect for pasta, sautéed vegetables, marinades, or garlic bread, any dish where you want that fresh garlic flavor without extra prep. With this setup, I always have garlic ready, whether I'm storing it for months or just for the next few weeks. With these 5 methods, I prep garlic once and use it for weeks or even months without waste. Since I started doing this, I rarely deal with sprouted or rotten bulbs anymore. Depending on how busy I am, I just choose the setup that fits. Which one would work best in your kitchen? If you have another trick, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching.